Hey everyone, I'm Hera the Bard and welcome to my channel. Today we're going to be talking about wanting to write as a career. This discussion was started by Wolfe is Writing and Kate Cavanaugh, who both have posted videos about this. I'm going to link them down below. Um, so here's just some of the key points that I got from Kate's video, and I'm going to be reading directly from what she has said about it. Defining career and writing career, uh, how much money versus publishing plays into that. Breaking down the author's guide income stats, she broke down these stats from 2017 and went into a little bit of detail about what that kind of looked like. Is wanting to write as a career enough? Chatting about niches and market sizes, luck, timing, and work. And then her own personal goals and how those goals have changed. And finally, how do you balance what currently making money versus what might make you money in the future? And these were just kind of her key points. I'll read a little bit more in from the pinned comment. So this is just a couple of notes that she put. Only about 4% of authors in the Screen Actors Guild of America Federation of Television and Radio Artists Union make enough to plan one health insurance to pay for one health insurance cost, and that's $20,000 a year. And that's just kind of our reality is that most of us don't make enough money to support ourselves. I currently am lucky enough to live in Canada where like 95% of my healthcare costs are covered. So the things that aren't covered is like if I need hearing aids, if I need glasses, if my dental care isn't covered and my medication isn't covered. Also, like physiotherapy or chiropractor, not covered. So those are the things that aren't covered in Canada that I would have to pay for out of pocket. And that could be anywhere from like a couple $100s to a couple $1,000s a year. But I luckily enough don't need actual proper health insurance because it would be more expensive for me to pay that monthly cost of health insurance than it would be for me to just pay out of pocket whenever I needed new glasses or whatever. The next thing Kate talks about is for every one author who makes it and to fame out there, there are 50,000 who did exactly the same thing and yet didn't make it. Most of the authors just don't seem to be getting recognition. A lot of this relies on how much money you have, luck, your relationships, chance, just a lot of different varying things. And then finally, she goes into our profession has a 95% unemployment rate, and only 1% of authors make 50,000 a year or more, and only 0.04% of authors are famous. So these are just kind of the things that she says. So there's the making it part of art. Like, at what point do you consider that, oh, hey, I've made it? Personally, I think that you have to writing has to be your career basically, or for it to be your career, you have to be able to be making money off of it enough to survive, enough to pay your bills. So, my personal opinion, a lot of people want to write as a career, but the monetizing of your writing is a tricky business. Uh, I personally write from a place of self care and writing first for myself. I don't write for anyone else except for myself because it's such a tricky thing to find those niches where people want your book, where people want to buy what you're selling essentially. Um if I wasn't happy first, if I didn't write in a way that made me happy, it would destroy me to try day in and day out to market and uh share my writing. I also don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting to write as your career or wanting to monetize your writing, but there are very few of us who are going to make enough money from our writing to sustain ourselves. And so I just don't think that it is a reality for a lot of people. And I don't want to speak for anyone else. I just want to speak for myself. I know that I'm never going to be a like huge name author. I'm don't really know if I want to. I probably wouldn't. Um, but I do know that I love writing. And more than that, I love sharing my writing. Even if there's only like, I don't know, 1,000 people who read my stories. Right now, I've sold 300 books in the past 7 years. That's for all 12 of the books that I have published, is just over 300 books sold. It's not a lot. I make between $2 and $25 a year off of my writing, and a lot of what I do is in my marketing, because I don't think it's like proper marketing or anything. But the thing that I do is I give away a lot of books, honestly. I don't have great reviews. I don't have a ton of money, and the money that it costs to be a self-published author, to put into the cover art, into the um not just like the art that's there, but also the cover design and what it actually looks like when it's a finished project. If you don't know how to format, then that is a huge cost. If you need help with your editing more than just like a standard editing, that's gonna cost a lot more money. Um, so these are things that like I personally think about. So there are some questions here that I'm going to answer. And feel free to comment down below with your own answers and to keep this conversation going. So the first question is, how do you define writing as a career? How much money do you make? Do you think you would make that plays into that definition? Do you hold yourself to a different standard when imagining your writing career than you would in other careers? So this is a bunch of questions all at once. First thing, how do you define a writing career? I personally define a career specifically as something that you make money, enough money off of to support yourself. So I personally do not have a career in writing. I am a published author. It's on my resume that I have a publishing business and that I've published books, but I don't consider it my career because it's not like a full-time job that I make money off of. How much money do you think that plays into that definition? I think you'd be having to make anywhere between like $1,000 a year and like $20,000 a year in order for me personally to consider it a proper career. Um, do you hold yourself to a different standard when imagining your writing career than you would in others? I don't think so, because this goes back to what I said earlier, but I write for myself first. I'm not gonna try and push something that is popular. I'm not going to try and look for the places, the niches, and get into those, because that's not who I am. And like when I specifically say like the money you make off of writing, that can be from actually sales of books, but it can also be from writing contests. It can be from writing grants. It can be from selling your book. It can be from all sorts of things. Um, so at the end of Kate's video, she kind of talks about like hodgepodging together her income based off of like her YouTube videos and her podcasts and her books and her whatever. Like, there's a lot of things that go into being a writer or being a creative person. Like, I would consider all of those things, even though some of them are more in the social media realm, like YouTube and podcasting. I would still consider those offshoots of her writing career, because Kate makes money off of those things, and she talks about her writing, she talks about books, she talks about whatever. Um, would I consider my own, do I hold myself to a different standard? I don't think so, because again, I don't make enough money to support myself in any kind of way. So I don't think that I could consider it a career at this point. Um, by definition, do you think wanting a writing career is enough? Uh, I don't know. I guess it depends where you're coming from on it. Um, I would love to have a writing career. I would love to make money off of my writing. I think a lot of people feel that way, that they have that want. Is it enough to just want that? Um, when so few of us are actually going to get that monetary uh, output where we're going to be able to get money from our writing? I'm not entirely sure. Um, how do you balance what you're currently making your money on versus what might make you money in the future versus what you love and makes your artist's heart soar? I've talked about this already. Writing for myself, first of all, is my number one thing. I'm always going to write first for myself, before anyone else. I recently got into an argument with someone because I had written something that was very personal to both herself and myself, and I had no intention of sharing that. I had no intention um of monetizing that, of putting it out there for other people to read. But she accused me of that, and that made me very upset. It made me very uncomfortable to think that my writing, that other people thought my writing was solely for my gain. I think that that's really a gross way to look at it. I would never want to publish something and make it about specifically something that is so personal like that. I would never want to take their story or our story together and monetize that, because that feels dirty, that feels gross, that it doesn't sit well with me. What I'm currently making money off of is I'm trying to find like a full-time job or a part-time job to support my writing, to support my ambitions. Um, and versus what might make you money in the future. I don't hold any like idea in my head that my writing or my YouTube or my podcast that I've done or whatever it is, because I have all of those things, but I don't hold it in my head at all that I might make money off of those things in the future. I write for myself. I publish because I want to share what I've written with the world. Um, it's just a lot of things to think about. I would love it if you commented down below what you think of these questions. I'll put them down below as well. But yeah, it's something that I would love to continue writing. I would love to monetize my writing, but it's never going to be my number one goal. It's never going to be the one thing that I absolutely do. Anyways, I hope that you've liked this video today. If you have, give it a thumbs up. Think about subscribing maybe, and I hope that we can continue this discussion down below in the comments. I will link my link tree as well as the videos that both Kate and Cam have done down below. I hope that you have a wonderful day, and I hope to talk to you again soon. Bye.